You guys are, sitting at 34 years old with your house fully paid off, an investment property soon to be fully paid off as well. What listeners are then going to also hear about is your journey to start a family.
I was born with half a uterus. I stood up and there was just a huge gush of blood. I had to give birth at 19 weeks and I had to be rushed into an emergency theatre. Because I had lost like half my blood volume at that point. So Jono's sitting there in the delivery room holding our deceased son while his wife had been wheeled away while she was bleeding, not knowing what was about to happen.
Your mum and your sister have offered to now carry your baby, your future babies with them. That's incredible. G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Built Different podcast. In true Built Different nature, we're going to take a very different style of conversation today. Normally talk all things property. We will weave a lot of property into our chat today, but let me just start off with why people invest in property. And I feel like, financial freedom is one of those things that get thrown around, but I think what it also does is give you options and choice in life. And let me give you a couple of examples. So most people go, I want to buy property and build a portfolio to give me passive income. Great. Get me into retirement. Great. I want to pay off my mortgage. Great. Some people then go and start a business, which now they're property backed, which is awesome. Other people want to travel maybe the country. We had clients that have caravanned around Australia after renting out their home or building an Airbnb portfolio. Fantastic. Some people want to travel the world. Some people want to get a career in finance and property, and awesome to you as well. And some people just want to chase that dream job where they chuck in the tout their current job and chase their passion. So with that in mind, property also gives you the option to then make good choices around building a family. And the discussion I'm going to have today with Michelle and Jono Harley is very much around what your property journey has been, and most importantly, what your family journey has been, because we're going to get the best of both worlds. So if you're curious and if this has sparked your curiosity, stay tuned, because we're going to go on an absolute roller coaster. I dare you to listen to this story without shedding a few tears. I certainly did. Your story was featured on Australian Story, and tearjerker is probably an understatement. So I want to say thank you very much both for being here.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So I guess let's get straight into it and go, right, what has been your journey life-wise, and how have you got to this point for people that aren't familiar with your story?
I'll take it away.
Yeah.
Journey life-wise. Throughout my life, I have come from a family where both my parents were born overseas, and they came to Australia when they were in primary school.
Yeah.
And it was kind of drilled, not necessarily drilled into me, but it was more get an education, get a stable job, and then if you're able to buy an investment property, that'll be great, and then you're sorted and you've got a stable life. So because there was so much upheaval in their lives and they had to work really hard to get where they were, it was if you just get a stable career, are able to make continuous income, you'll be good. And so taking risks wasn't really part of what I was told to do growing up. So that's kind of where my journey with property kind of began. And then I met this guy over here, and he is more of a free spirit when it comes to career and money and things like that.
This is what we call yin and yang in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
I never would have referred to myself as a free spirit.
Yeah, me neither. That was, But yeah, from where I've come from is different to how he's approached like career and money.
And that was probably also my upbringing as well. So my dad always had a steady job, quite a decent job, working in the banks his whole career. So my grandparents were, my grandfather was the first child in his family to be born in Australia. They were farmers, both mum and dad's side farmers. So then mum and dad moved to the city, and dad had a pretty good job, and so we had a good upbringing. We weren't crazy wealthy by any means, but I saw what you could achieve from working hard in a career. Like Dad was commuting up to the city every day. Mum was a stay-at-home mum looking after myself and my twin brother and my sister. And then she jumped back into work when we were at primary school. So it was steady, and I came from a family where all the kids went to uni, and we all had decent jobs out at the end of the uni. And then I wanted to make Dad proud, essentially. Like I saw what he had done and wanted to do something cool for myself as well. And I always had dreams of owning a really nice house and a big block of land and starting a family. So, and then I met Michelle at school. We met in high school, I think. It sounds very romantic. It was on the football fields at high school. I was not playing football.
I was not interested.
It sounds like a typical story.
And then
That guy.
I went to uni in Sydney and Michelle went to uni in Wollongong.
Yeah.
We didn't
And
talk
we
to
didn't
each other
talk
for years.
basically all of uni, and then I moved back to Wollongong for a master's and found myself single, and we hit it off as
I
if
ran into him and I was like, oh, you got good looking.
And it was like just, when like you've got a good relationship with someone and you're good friends, and then you don't see them for so long, but when you see them, you just kick off where you left. It was basically that, and we moved pretty quickly, and like within a matter of a couple of years, we were married.
Yeah. We realised that we had like the same ideas for how we wanted life to look like what we wanted to do, how we wanted to start a family. We both were interested in property. We both were really interested in like renovating and in like interiors. And Jono's got pictures of when he was like 10 years old drawing floor plans of houses. Like we've always been...
You're destined for,
We've always been interested in dabbling in that area.
I'd say you've gone past dabbling, and so I'd say you've done very well. If you want to understand where this journey is going, you guys are sitting at 34 years old?
Yep.
With your house fully paid off, an investment property, soon to be fully paid off as well. And so if you're scratching your head going, what are you doing wrong in life? Yeah, I'm asking the same thing because I've got a decent sized mortgage and I'm older than you guys. But this is all part of it. And I think what listeners are then going to also hear about is your journey to start a family, which again comes with plenty of challenges. But if we go back to buying your first property, how do you at 24 and 25 find yourselves buying your first property?
So 24 and 25.
That's what I've got
Around
here.
there.
Yeah.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. It was funny, as a kid, I always wanted to have a nice house, a big block of land, and that was the dream. But then I went to uni and partied through uni and was just having a good time, and then it sort of fell off the radar, and it was kind of like, oh, I'm young, I've still got time to do that. And then I got my first full-time job, which is a job I've still got today. And the owner of the company, so my boss, was quite a successful businessman, and he'd invested in property a lot and been quite successful. And I sort of looked at that and I went, wow, that's so cool. Like he started a business in Wollongong, and he had his own mentor and business partner, and he was telling me how he would buy a house and he would renovate it and then pack the family up and move to the next house. And I thought, geez, that's a lot of work, but a lot of commitment. And he moved around, and then he ended up moving up to Cronulla, and he would just buy the principal place of residence, renovate that, sell it, and slowly worked his way closer and closer to the water. And he's now like waterfront house in Cronulla. Beautiful. And I went up and saw his house, and I just thought, yeah, this is cool. Like, I want to do something like this. And he was probably the biggest driver for me to he opened my eyes and went, okay, yeah, this is achievable. And then I would talk to my parents, in particular, my dad, a fair bit about what I had seen and that I could do something like this. And then Dad was the one that said, I think we can make this happen. Like, I think now is probably the right time. And it was 12 months into starting my first job. And we started looking. The market was pretty hot at the time, so everything was going quite quickly. So I ended up buying a little apartment in Wollongong. And I didn't really know what I was doing at the time. This unit came up, and the advice that I had received and from my boss at the time was, don't buy a unit, buy a house. But I was 24 and wanted to be by the beach and close to friends, and I wanted the lifestyle. So I made the lifestyle choice, and it was I bought my first unit for 645 grand, and my parents' friend was a real estate agent, or I think he just retired at the time, so he helped with the strategy on how to buy it, and I had no idea any of that process. Went in and walked through the place and we're like, yep, this is the one. And we basically just put in a really strong offer, waived the cooling off period. I had no idea what any of that meant at the time. And next minute I had an apartment. And I had used a lot of savings. Mum and Dad helped me out as well with the deposit. And then not long after that, I think you bought a place. It was about 6 months after that.
Yeah.
And you'd been looking for a little while as
Yeah,
well.
I'd been looking for a really long time. I just remember when I started my first job at high school, my plan was, well, I need to save a lot of money for a house deposit. This is like a 16-year-old kid that's like, I need to buy a house. But that's just what I was thinking. It's like, this is really important to me. And I know saving for a house deposit is really hard. And so while my friends finished school, walked down to McDonald's and spent their little like wage money on getting a new shirt, getting some McDonald's, I didn't do that. I was just saving my money, and that's what I did for a very long time, just saved my money. That being said, I've also traveled to like most of the continents in the world. Like I wasn't that kind of penny pinching.
Frugal,
I wasn't frugal. I still have enjoyed my life and traveled a lot and done a lot of things. But I also prioritized saving from a very young age. And one day, and I'd been looking for like a year or something, and it was at a time when the market was really hot, and places were going for like 150 grand above the asking price. And I was like, well, why is that the asking price? I remember just being so frustrated at the time.
You got so mad at it.
Yeah, I was like, I
We
would
hear that energy all the
cry.
time.
Yeah. Like me in my early 20s, I would cry, be like, why? Like, this is not fair. I've been trying so hard. And then Jono was looking out the window of his apartment, saw another apartment across the road for sale, went in and had a look for me and was like, I think this is really good, you should buy it. And I was just a bit defeated at the time. And I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. And Jono was the guy that went in and like did all my bidding for. This
like
is
in our
we had been
relationship
dating
as
for
well.
not a very long time.
And I was
like,
the one talking to the real
whatever.
estate agent. And because I had just gone through the process, I had learned
Yeah.
so much and I was starting to become fascinated by it. So I was putting the offer in. I was asking for the building report.
Yeah.
I was trying to sort out stuff from the banks. And then they're like, so who are you? And then I got to the point I said, no, Michelle, I think I need you now.
Okay. And I got it. And that one was, I can't remember.
I paid $630 for it.
For a 3-bed, 1 bath, 1 car.
But it was a really unique property.
Yeah. It was great.
Mate, also in Wollongong, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well
it
done.
had not been touched since the 70s. It was dilapidated.
And so the choice to renovate, like most people go, look, I don't have the skill set or I don't have the inclination to rent a property. Obviously, this is maybe coming from like a boss or a mentor that's going, I can see how this works, right?
Yeah.
We also didn't have the skills or the knowledge or anything. It's just that we really wanted to do it, and so we learned. Jono more so than me.
Yeah, I think my parents did a big renovation on their house when I would have been in...
Year 7?
No, younger than that. Primary school. It was like year 3 or 4.
Oh, right.
And I was fascinated by all of the architect's plans. And then that's why I started drawing all these house plans like back then. And I think that's when I just became passionate about houses. And then my work, so I work in bathrooms. Like I was designing, my first job was designing bathroom vanities and taps and basins. And
So you have gone on to get a career in
home
design.
So I studied industrial design, so product design, and then a master's of marketing. So I worked out how to design the product and then how to sell the product.
Fantastic.
So I was kind of in that space of seeing like building materials and finished goods.
Yeah.
And I was going to some trade fairs, and I just fell in love with like, oh my God, these bathrooms look amazing. And I've got this, what was my place, like a 80s or 90s bathroom. So I started off by, I just got in and painted everything straight away. And I left all the old carpet in, painted the walls, and then I had housemates that moved in. So the only way I could afford the repayments was it was a 3-bedroom place. So I took the smallest bedroom and then I rented out the other 2 rooms. So it was 3 beds and 2 bathrooms. So I was getting quite a bit of money for the master suite with the ensuite. And then I changed all the doors. I did whatever I could without disturbing my housemates. And then the main bathroom started to leak. The shower was leaking. That was a good opportunity and a good excuse to renovate the bathroom. So I saved up as much as I could, and I think I redrew what I could out of the loan and ripped in and did the bathroom reno, which was good experience for work as well. And I got to use a lot of the products from work. So lots of learnings there. And then...
But like Jono did all the demo himself. Like he
did as much as I
learned
could
all the
myself,
tools that he needed to use in different ways. Like, yeah.
And Michelle was helping out with all of the demo, and I quickly learnt that there were actually hot water pipes in the wall when I hit the pipe, and there were tiles going everywhere, and it was a mess, but I learnt so much from it. And like I got my parents helped out as well with some of the demo and painting, and then as we progressed in our relationship, your parents were there painting, and so it just sort of snowballed from that. And then I got to the point where I needed to do the kitchen and I wanted to knock out a wall, but I'd completely run out of money. You had just moved in with me, I think. And we both sort of worked out that we had similar finances. We were both good savers. We wanted the same thing. And then I think you offered to...
I paid for his kitchen renovation.
Offered to pay for my kitchen, which is about 30 grand.
Which is so silly looking back at it. Like,
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
who is this guy?
I think we'd known.
Well, I mean, at that point you're moving in, so you're one in all in.
Yeah. So
anyway,
it was all self-taught, really.
Excellent. And then I'm assuming you get that revalued. Is that what happens, or what's the progress at that point?
So we didn't know what we were doing at the start. Like this was just
we were just
excited.
renovating this shitty apartment that needed some TLC. And we were making decisions based on what we loved. Like the tiles Jono picked for that main bathroom, disgusting, expensive, but he loved them. So he picked them. The kitchen cabinet finishing, like the more expensive type of finish that you could get. Yeah,
I was doing it because I could see, I through my job, I could see all of these beautiful places. And I was just going, yep, this is exciting. And I up-spec that place like crazy.
There's a word for that. It's called overcapitalizing.
Overcapitalizing, but I didn't know that word.
Great.
Again,
I did a reno for our place, my first property in North Parramatta.
Yeah.
Opposite a cemetery.
Stunning.
Right on a main street.
Yeah.
And I remember, those old, the subway tiles, how they were in vogue. Did that, knocked out the archway, did the bathroom, spec'd it to the point that when I went to sell it, they're like, renovated the market and no one wants this for a 2-bedroom unit. So everything you're saying, I've done my master's of marketing, so I feel like we're cut from the same cloth here, Jono, which is I don't care about the price, I just want it to look good.
That's right. Yeah, just want it to look good.
Literally him.
And then we kind of realised at that time I think we'd had it for 18 months, done the reno, and then we were sort of looking for the next thing. And I'm a sucker for getting bored and then getting antsy and wanting to do something. And so I finished it and then thought, let's go and get it valued. And we ended up selling it for $830, I think.
Yeah.
There was one person at the auction.
Yeah, right.
It was terrifying.
So, and like looking back at it now, like I wouldn't do all of that work for that amount of profit. Like by the time you look at all of the costs and holding costs and like I think we probably walked away with maybe a profit of 50 grand or something from it over a couple of years. But it enabled us to then go on and do the next thing. So it was the right decision at the time. I don't regret selling it, but when I get shivers when I think about all that work and how much I made from it.
It's interesting that you decide to sell because most people go, buy the first one and never sell. Like there's this whole like adage around you buy your first investment property, your first property, and don't ever sell it. You turn it into you convert it into an investment. But I guess the kahunas to go, we're going to sell this thing and go on to the next project, right? Yeah,
and to be very honest, I don't think I even considered renting it out.
Yeah, right.
I was excited. We had Michelle's place across the road that we could move into. We could use the profit to pay for that reno. My apartment was better stock than the place that Michelle had across the road, but it was a good financial move to then allow us to then buy a house. So we knew that the 2 apartments were stepping stones. They were never going to be. We're not apartment people. We always wanted a nice house. So it was always a stepping stone. But we hadn't considered renting them out. It was just, I don't know. It was things that we then learnt along the way.
Yeah, well, what we've done since then, like we were just making decisions on the fly, being like, well, if we sell it, then we'll have money and we can do this. Yeah. As opposed to what we do now is that we take all of these questions, like pages of questions, we take them to people that know what they're talking about and we run them through, this is scenario A, scenario B, scenario C. What are the finances to all this? What should we do? Which would have been the smarter thing to do at that stage. But at that stage, we had just gotten into the market. We were just flying.
We had no strategy.
Yeah, no strategy.
I think you have a strategy, but what I do feel you have is you've got a good amount of alignment. There's a couple. What I'm finding is this was Jono's idea and it's terrible, and almost like this little bit of finger pointing sometimes happens financially. Whereas I feel when I'm hearing you both, it's going, well, we made this decision, then we thought this was a good idea, and there's this great alignment when I said it every couple is that you can't build a house off 2 different floor plans.
Yeah.
You have to get alignment. And so financially, it's the same thing. You can't build a financial plan with 2 different strategies. But what I'm picking up from you both is, hey, mate, we're one in, all in. Yeah. We may not agree on everything, but at least make a decision to move forward based on a consensus here.
Yeah. And it was the information that we had at the time, and we were both kind of like, well, let's weigh up all these options. Yeah, okay, this one seems reasonable for what we're doing right now.
And it wasn't the be-all and end-all. Like, we'd bought these places and we'd sold them for a little bit more, sold one of them for a little bit more. So we had money to jump back in if we wanted. And we weren't emotionally attached to these places.
And we were also never scared financially. A lot of our friends at the time were like, oh, I can't believe you're spending that amount of money on an apartment, or they were looking at buying houses for like $900,000 at the time, like a 5-bedroom house on a 900 square metre block of land. Be like, oh, the housing bubble's going to burst. And it's like, has it ever?
I'm glad you've said this, because this is probably the one at that age, 24, 25, like you said, travel, everyone's traveling. It's not normal or typical to go and be spending upwards of 600 grand on a property and then selling and up going to the next one. And so, those voices and those noises from people, I'm like,
there was so much noise,
so
much.
Buying my
Why don't you wait? It's gonna go down. COVID happened. They're gonna go down. It's like, let's look at the past 80 years of the Australian property market. When has it ever dropped so much that you've been like, oh, I should have?
Well, it drops for a very small period.
Yes. It's like, just don't sell it in that small period. Just wait.
I remember when I bought my first place, and one of my mates that I was living with in a share house before I moved into the apartment, and I think the place had just settled, and he sent me this article, and it was like, the property market's crashing. and I just went, what?
All doom and gloom.
But at the same time, I was just like, whatever. Like, I've got this place now, like, as home. But I never really considered that, like, it would be a bad outcome from it. I just went in.
I think I had a look at that house on real estate, like how much you could sell it for now, and it was like you could sell it for like 1.1 or something. Yeah. So like if we did hold on to it, obviously we would have gotten rental during that time. We could have sold it for 1.1 now.
Here we go.
But you make decisions.
Yeah. And one of the big decisions obviously then has to do with family planning. And this is obviously how our paths have crossed in terms of IVF. I think you probably, I don't know if you grew up, you guys were probably a little bit younger than me, but I grew up with the view that if you looked at a girl, you got her pregnant. Which when you actually start to try for a family is so far from the truth. And I was listening to your story, I'm like, this is us. Like we get the apps and it's like, this is the right time of the month. And I even, I'll never forget it. Like Bernadette was like, okay, this is the time. And I was like, right. And I had a client call just like, when we're working in the cities, run well over. So by the time I got home, she's like, not even. And I'm like, right, down another month, right? So any potential parent is going, I understand that. And just like cortisol levels. And then obviously I want to talk to yourself, Michelle, which is, physically, so hormonally is one part, but physically, obviously trying to have a child, that's a massive, challenge for you guys as well. So I guess people are going, and we know heaps of our clients that have had to pull out money for IVF and go down this path as well. One, it's tough on it as a couple, but two, it's tough physically as well. You want to share kind of your journey and And what happened?
My journey with my fertility started when I got my first period, and it was excruciating from day one. And so I always knew that my period was just different to everyone else's. And again, it's just my family background. Like, we're savers. We're not risky with money. And so I was just saving. And in the back of my mind, I was like, oh, maybe one day I'll need IVF. That's expensive. I should probably have savings for that. And so...
And you're what, like 16 at this point?
Yes,
yeah, this
I
is
know.
nuts. You're built different, mate. I'll tell you what, no 16-year-olds are thinking I've got to save
I was
first.
too sensible in my youth. I should have been a bit more relaxed. But anyway, yeah. And then I would go to doctors. They would be like, it's just a really bad endometriosis. Just take the pill. You'll be fine. I'm just like, okay. And so I didn't know the extent to my fertility needs at the time. And it wasn't until I had a laparoscopy to get some endometriosis removed that the doctor was like, oh, your uterus looks a bit small. That's a bit funny. We should go get it checked out a bit more, had more scans. I was born with half a uterus, which is just like a rare abnormality that occurs when the fetus is developing. It just didn't quite form as it should have. There are thousands of women throughout the world that have this type of uterus. They can give birth, get pregnant naturally. They can take a baby to term. It wasn't deemed like a big issue. And we decided to start trying for a family
It was actually right before we got married.
right before we got
Sort
married.
of came to the surface and we went, oh, it might be
Yeah.
tricky.
Yeah. So 3 days before our wedding, Jono spent that day organising trades to do a big demolition
right.
on our house 3 days before we got married. And that's when my period was just coming back. And again, all the doctors were like, just see how it goes, just try for 12 months, that kind of story. And when it wasn't happening, it was like, oh, well, you can do IVF. And people talk about IVF like, oh, you can just do it and then you'll have your baby and it'll be
don't
fine.
even. Yeah, just so casually. Yeah, we'll just,
just do IVF.
Yeah.
And we are so lucky in Australia that IVF is covered in some situations. Like, we were lucky that it was covered in our situation.
And lucky that you had saved and you had your untouchable fund
we
money.
had when Jono was renovating, he was like, well, can we just no, we're not touching that money.
Good discipline.
we need
Yeah.
It's a theme.
Yeah.
And then I think
You have to talk to Bernadette, my wife, because this is I don't even know. There's banks that I don't get access to at all. So there's offshore accounts probably that I have no idea what's going on here.
And I think we were lucky that you had your money and that we had set ourselves up and we were in
We had just sold the house and we had money, and what we projected IVF to cost, we were like, yeah, we've got enough to cover this.
So we were never stressed about that, which was amazing.
Which that would be a massive moot point, particularly in a period like that where it's like you feel like you're burning cash, burning time, for example, and it's like the amount.
We'll get there. We'll get to the burning cash part.
Let's go straight there. So tell me more.
And then it didn't really work. The first IVF cycle, we only got 2 eggs. Both of them turned into embryos, which was incredible. The first one didn't stick. The second one didn't defrost properly before we went in. And I was like, I didn't know that was an option. I thought, we've got 2 embryos, let's try the 2 embryos. But so we had to do another round. And we got more eggs. We were good at forming embryos. And that first embryo that they then transferred in that second round, how much was each round of IVF?
Oh, I've blocked it out.
Yeah, a couple of grand.
I know the total cost.
Yeah, and that one stuck.
Yeah, nice.
And that was amazing because it was like, oh, second try, like this is good. This is on average, it's working. Yay for us.
And
IVF
that was
worked.
exciting. We got to go through the whole early pregnancy phase, and
Yeah.
that was all very, very exciting.
However, at week 7, which is very early on, I started bleeding, and I was like, oh, great, I've had a miscarriage. And I called the doctor, and they were like, just monitor it. We'll see if it keeps going. We'll check it later, but just keep monitoring. And then not even 24 hours later, I stood up, and there was just a huge TMI gush of blood. Huge. I went to the bathroom, called my best friend, who is a obstetrician.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Nice best friend.
I called Michelle's friend, and she said, hang up, call an ambulance. So I did that.
Yeah,
And
because
then
I
next
was like,
minute
I'm just bleeding and it won't stop. I was like just sitting there, and constant blood was just constant, like a tap that wouldn't turn off.
And then we ended
And I'm
up
just
in
like,
hospital,
what should I do? And she's like, call an ambulance. Like, this is extreme. We ended up in hospital. The nurses there in emergency was like, I was passing huge clots. They were like, you've probably passed, like it's probably a miscarriage. And then the next morning, Jono had gone home to do something, and at that point, as soon as he leaves, they wheel me in for an ultrasound, and the sonographer was like, oh, there's the heartbeat. I was like,
Crazy.
excuse me? There's something still in there?
And I had just sent everyone at work an email saying, oh, Michelle's had a miscarriage. I won't be in.
Yeah.
And then I had to turn around and say, false alarm.
Yeah.
Everyone at work just like,
but just the
Well, it's
amount.
even that 7-week period where you're probably not telling many people anyway,
right?
right?
Everyone was like, oh, she was pregnant. Oh, God.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that pregnancy continued. It continued for a very long time. And in that long time, I bled every single day. Every single day was just copious amounts.
Rest.
I was,
And it was during COVID, so we were just locked up in homes. So that sort of helped. And
well, it's a blessing and a curse, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to actually be able to get out and socialise, take your mind off things. But if you're at home, it's just, there's no escape potentially on this as well, right?
Yeah. I had to get, I think they're called clissage, that stitch to make sure that my cervix didn't open up. I was having weekly appointments with obstetricians, bleeding this whole time, making sure my cervix wouldn't open early. And then at 19 weeks, my waters just broke. Like the stereotypical huge gush of water happened. And I was kind of like, oh gosh, what now? Jono drove very fast to the hospital, took us there. And again, the baby still had a heartbeat. It was still all fine. They kept us in there for a really long time, about a week. And the fluid was just not filling up. I was so excited. We had our anatomy scan booked in for the next few days, the halfway point. We were so excited, but alas, I had to give birth at 19 weeks. And it was so sad, but also, it was, looking back, it was so nice that I was able to have that birthing experience. Not that many people are able to do it. And so for me, I really appreciated being able to deliver, our child. And then classic Michelle started bleeding again, and I had to be rushed into an emergency theatre because I had lost half my blood volume at that point. So Jono's sitting there in the delivery room holding our deceased son while his wife had been wheeled away while she was bleeding, not knowing what was about to happen.
That was scary because at that point I was like, is she coming back or not? And no one had told me what was going on, obviously, because it was all just attention on Michelle, get her out of here. And then it was the next day, I think you woke up in ICU, and then I think we were in hospital another few days before we went home, and then we just sort of went, oh God, what do we do now? And then within the week, I think the
obstetrician, when we were there, because classic Michelle was like, what can we do? How can we prevent this from happening next time? And she just looks at me and she was like, sweetie, I don't think you should try this another time.
Yeah, that was just.
She was like, with all the issues, with all the issues that you had throughout the whole time, and you almost, kicking on, I don't think you should do it again.
Yeah.
And not having kids was never a part of our plan. It was like
it was
just
not at all part of the plan.
a non-negotiable. Like, oh yeah, we'll have kids. We'll have a family. At one point, Jono was like, let's have 4. And I was like, cool. We always thought we'd wanted like a big family because the idea of having like lots of people around was like exciting for us.
Oh, it's just the classic like dream of buy yourself a house, a nice house, fill it up with kids, big Christmases, like what more could anyone want? And then it was, and we'd been so fortunate, like with our property journey, that we'd been able to achieve what we wanted to achieve. And this was the first time when we were just like, far out, like no matter what we do, we just can't achieve this dream.
Yeah, like we wanted to buy a house, so we saved really hard and we worked hard and we bought it. We wanted to rent it, so we figured out how to do that and we did it.
And
Whereas
then I think before we'd even left the hospital, my sister had offered to be a surrogate for us.
Wow.
And she was 34 at the time, I think. And then Michelle's mum, same thing, like straight away, picks up the phone to us and is just like, I'll be a surrogate, what do I have to do?
Yeah, but throughout my whole pregnancy, because it was such an ordeal, they were like, well, if you can't do this, like we can help out. Yeah.
I mean, they'd say it takes a village to raise a family, but not a village
To
to
make
actually
one
create a
too.
family, isn't it?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if you're picking up what they're putting down, it's pretty much your mum and your sister have offered to now carry your baby, your future babies, with them. That's incredible. It's a real testament to obviously the family bonds that you guys have, and it's not available for everyone. But I mean, if you have that option, I'm like, that's insanely selfless of your family, but also for you guys to bring them on the journey. It's
and to have 2 people offer was just like insane. Like everyone struggles to even find one surrogate that's available, and we're in a position where we had 2 at the same time, and they were both offers that had timeframes on them as well. Like it was, my sister was about to pack the family up and go and do a lap around Australia for 12 months. Yeah. And she was like, it's now or never, because
like,
when I get back, I want to get stuck into work. Yeah. And Michelle's mum, the doctors had said to her, she was 52 at the time, I think.
51. And like 52 was the cutoff age.
Yeah, and they were like, it's now or never. And we were just like, whoa, okay.
Well, it's almost the beauty of like not having time to think. It's like, this has to happen, and we're going hell for leather.
And our IVF doctor has twins himself, and he was like, Michelle, do you know how hard
that was one of my questions.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think you know how tough I am. Like, I want this. It will happen.
And I'm a twin as well, so my mum raised my brother and I, so she was there.
It's like
going,
she knows what she's doing.
Okay, like I can help. Like I know what to do, and we'd wanted that dream so much that we just went,
well, this is our only option. So okay, let's do it.
Did adoption ever come up? I mean, maybe you didn't have time to think through it.
We had embryos available. We had surrogates who had offered. We hadn't gotten to that point yet because that was never like I was. The embryo stuck in me. It was growing. It was fine. And it was just conversations that we had leading up to it. Although I looked into it later on. Yeah. Because, like, again, we wanted a bigger family, and I just did some research. A really, really high percentage of adoptions in Australia occur within the family. So like aunts, uncles, grandparents. And that's what I think researchers found is best for the child, that they stay within a family. And so in order to adopt, you have to go through the foster system, and then kids come in and out all the time. Correct. It's not like you can just go, be like, I want that one. Like, that's not how it's done.
I mean, the government did make us adopt our own children.
Oh, yeah.
Born,
so we have gone.
Oh, there you go.
Technically adopted.
That's an interesting one. So, but technically or legally.
Yeah.
Well, so it was just a parentage order that we had to do.
Yeah, so the original birth certificate said Michelle's mum and dad were the parents of Hugo.
My dad was like, what have I got to do with this?
Parents of Spencer. And then we had to put in these parentage orders to the Supreme Court and pay more money, and our children were ours.
I mean, we've had people that have looked down the reason why I asked the adoption route is, that's quite an arduous process. There's no problem. They can go, you can be the first in line, and then someone else can come and usurp you there as well.
But also, surrogacy from the time we started to the time the boys were born, like I think 14 months had passed. Yes.
Yeah,
Which is
and-
including the 9-month gestation period. And so we were able to do it quite quickly. Whereas with adoption, it takes like minimum 5 years.
Yeah, years.
Yeah. And although like we weren't, like I was 30, we were both 31 when Hugo was born. Like it was kind of like, I don't really want to be 36 and just doing this. Like I want it now.
Yeah.
And this is
You got
the
this
way
window
to
of
do
time,
it.
and it's all,
Yeah.
everyone talks about the
Yeah.
clock ticking, but yeah, you feel like we're in this prime years of our life. This is going to be the time I don't want to be an older parent, because then we
Yeah.
think, well, when
Yeah.
the kids are bloody 18, I don't want to be like
Yeah.
late 50s or
Which,
something
like,
and be the old dad.
Each to
you
their
know?
own, but that's
Yeah.
not what we wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
And
I
this
think-
was available to us, so we just were like, yeah, okay, let's just go down this path.
If this wasn't an option for your mum and your mum and your sister, did you guys ever talk about? Okay,
Never.
No.
Yeah, right.
I think we just wanted something so desperately that we just.
But also, the ball was already in motion at that point. Like, I was still pregnant, but with all the complications, they had suggested it. So it was, this conversation had already started. It
Yeah.
wasn't like this happened, and then, oh, now what do we do? Let's have a conversation. It was like, well, the conversation had already started. So we never spoke about what a life without kids would look like.
I think anyone listening that hasn't gone through this experience of going to be a parent or trying to be a parent, they're like, this can't be that hard. Boy meets boy meets girl, parent partner meets partner, for example, and good luck. But yeah, I can tell you now, having gone through the journey, it is emotional, it's financial, it tests you as a couple, and even just going through the pregnancy phase where you feel like you're walking on a knife's edge for the first 12 weeks. You keep it under wraps, for example. Then you go through that late stage of pregnancy, timing wise, and then the delivery, the birth plan, you name it. And
so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
And because something went wrong in our journey, that's when like everyone came out of the woodwork and was like, we've been doing IVF for 8 years. We had a
starts talking about
stillbirth.
it.
We had to
Spot on.
terminate on medical reasons. Like just so many people that I didn't even know.
Suffering
Yes.
silence. Yeah, correct.
Yeah. And that's
It's like,
part of
oh,
why
we had a
wanted to do that
stillborn.
Australian
Since
story
when?
as well.
Like, yeah.
It's like we wanted to tell our story, and
I congratulate you guys for being super vulnerable and open with your story, mate. Well done to you guys.
that was a lot of work. Like we had, they were filming, was it almost 6 months? Or
I don't know.
maybe a
Leading
little
up
bit less
to
than
it,
that,
and then
but-
once the boys were born.
But like we had a film crew following us through the hospital.
Yeah.
Like when Hugo was born, he was Michelle's mum gave birth via cesarean, so they weren't allowed into the theatre. But like they filmed us walking in, and then he was born, and then we walked out, and like there's a camera in your face, and you're just like, oh my god, we've just been trying for years to do this, and there's a camera in our face, but we are committed to this cause. Yes, my lord, here we are. Like,
Now, I've got to tell you, because my little brother's an Australian story. And so, yeah, my
Everyone's
claim to
got an
fame.
Australian
And anyway, they've come to the house and they're bloody setting up
Yeah.
the day off. So I know what goes on behind, you go behind the scenes stuff. And I got to, with these dates, so you're organising a pregnancy, but you're also organising a camera crew and like, trying to get the families together. Like, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. But if we come back to you guys and say, right, you go through this massive roller coaster and then you come out the other side, and now you're in your early to mid 30s and you go, now you're financially free off the back of making some really good decisions. Do you guys just pinch yourself sometimes and go, it's not lucky, it's, hey, this is on reflection and looking backwards, they say you can connect the dots. You go, hey man, we made some good moves, and we made some, I don't think you made sacrifices in the sense that you still had a good life, but you had to make some hard decisions that got you to this point.
We worked really, really hard for a really long time. Like in terms of sacrifices, back in the earlier days,
that was our weekends. It was
every
just-
single weekend, our routine was like, wake up, walk down to the beach, have a swim, have a coffee, come back home, renovate. Like renovate till 6 p.m. Like we would come home from work, and like on a Wednesday night, we were like sticking blue board up like at 8 o'clock at night, just constantly doing stuff to like fix this renovation, there was a very long, like we've only just come out of it. Like, so I didn't mention, but the surrogacy journey cost us about 80
or
90 grand of money that we didn't like.
I don't know where that money came from.
Yeah, we don't know where it came from. We didn't have that
Just
money
went
to
through in
spend.
a wash. It was just
Yeah.
crazy.
And like, I think the final cost in order to, like, the boys were here in order to adopt them, we got like this bill for $13,000. And I was like, I have no idea how we're going to pay this.
Yeah.
Like, the hours I spent agonizing over like groceries and like not buying things or finding them on Marketplace. Like, we did make a lot of sacrifices. We spent a lot of time DIYing before the boys were born, like to save costs in that way. We just spent a lot of time
I think
and
my
energy.
biggest sacrifice was probably my friendship circle. Like, I
Yeah.
had a good crew of friends. Like, when I bought my first place, and I'd renovate and then go down to the pub and see them. And but then it was just became all consuming, and my work started to take off as well. And then with the whole fertility thing, like, we were just exhausted.
Yeah.
And like, I've got a small group of like good friends now, but that have stuck by me. But there's so many mates that like I hardly talk to now because we just fell out of touch because I was too busy doing this. And
Yeah.
I think you did a better job of keeping up with your friends along the way. But that was probably the biggest sacrifice that I made. That I like, I kind of regret it, but like, we've set ourselves up.
Yeah.
Mate, correct. And I say to anyone now, this is what a decade of locking in looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
was
looked
a
at your
decade.
time.
I was
It's
locking in.
yeah.
I didn't
24,
really feel
25. You're both
Yeah.
sitting at 34, so it's a decade.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that now because our business turns 10 in July. And it's very similar to what you've done here, which is every weekend
Yeah.
at the office, Bernie and I. Every weekend here. Miss this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mate, swiping at the grocery shop.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's money on this card.
Yeah.
Every dollar went into, this is effectively your business.
Yeah.
Renovating, selling, cashing out. That's been your business. And so you go run it for 10 years, and it's a game of grip strength is what I call it for a lot of people. Other people didn't give up. And you just had to push through this period of going, we're going to get to the finish line. It's going to be worth it. But on the way through, this is not a journey for everyone.
Yeah.
Others want the social on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we hang out at the beach. It's a nice day. No, we go back and we
Yeah.
renovate, roll our sleeves up. And you're now the beneficiary of these decisions that you've made. But at the time, it's like, just put one foot in front of the other.
Oh,
feel
I
like that's-
remember whinging to Jono all the time, being like, one day, like, when is that one day going to happen? Like, when will we be able to, like, just do things? Just, yeah. But
Yeah, and I
that-
think like we're in this small window where we've just sold a property that we renovated and made a good profit on it. It hasn't settled yet, but we've got this little window of like financial freedom. But we're
We
not
sold mo-
stopping. Like
yeah.
we're going to do more. We're going to
Yeah.
buy back in and go again. But we're just really enjoying life at the moment, like with
Yeah.
the boys, and we can afford to go down to the cafe on the weekend and
yeah.
buy breakfast for the family and
Like
not
at one
worry
stage,
about it.
at one stage we had like 5 properties.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
No,
4.
four at the-
4 of them, 3 of them were rented out. We were living in one of them. That was really hard.
That was hard. I don't know how we did that.
And then
but-
we've since sold 2 of them. And now that's the reason why we are mortgage free very soon. But yeah, that doesn't mean we're content. Jono's like before this recording, Jono was on realestate.com.
I love it. But here's the thing. If you'd gone and got your own home, you would have signed up for a 30-year mortgage anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're like, mate, we're going to accept a 30-year mortgage. What happens if we just locked in for 10 years? And I say just.
Yeah.
What happens if we did this in 10 years as opposed to 30 years? And you know what? Now we've got the best years with our kids. Where they actually, what's the stat? You spend probably 89% of your time with your children before the age of 12. So you're going to be there for your 3-year-olds to be around, to be present. Like you said, we can afford to do things. So we're not having to look at the budget going, sorry, kids, we can't afford to do that. You can even have a great life without probably spoiling them, but to have some fun along the way as well, purely by making some really good financial decisions. So you guys ever like stop and reflect on this as a couple and go,
I don't think so. Like,
Well,
other than me
the-
running quick stats and numbers of a night with a calculator out, and I'm like,
Just
look at
his
this and
phone.
this and this and this and this.
Because there'd be people that like
Yeah,
50, 60 something
but
going, we still don't have our home paid off.
For
yeah.
sure, yeah.
I think some things we did that we didn't necessarily think were good things at the time were just buying 2 smaller places initially, as opposed to buying like one more expensive house. So by doing that, we were able to have a rental income on one, live and renovate the other one. Yeah. And at the time, that was just because I was like, I'm not sharing finances with this guy. Like, I want to buy my own place. Yeah. And that was it. At the time, we say this all the time, if we had pulled our money at that time, we may have been locked into a 30-year mortgage, but we could have bought like a $900,000 beachside house in like a beautiful beachside house. But then we would have not had a rental income. We probably wouldn't have been able to, necessarily
be able to afford the repayments.
Yeah.
So I think we just did lots of little baby steps, and we've treated every property as a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And like I said at the start,
word.
I love it too. That's what we call it. I usually call, you got 2 purchases when you start. I think that's what you said. Okay, you got a stretch property, which is we're going to stretch ourselves to get there. That's a $900K beachside property. Yeah. But we know we're going to absolutely kind of go to the eyeballs, and it's a stretch property. Or you got a stepping stone property. It's exactly what we talk about. And it's like you got 2 options. One is it's not the forever home. It's literally going to get you to the next one. That one's going to be the next one to get you to the next one. And there's a delayed gratification. Stepping stone properties, you got to swallow your pride a little bit and go, this is not the 3-bed.
Jono uses that word all the time. I think I will only ever live in a stepping stone house. I don't think we will get.
Michelle's come from a family where her mum is very house proud, and everything has its place at home, and it's all like a beautiful house.
Wait till the grandchildren come over.
Already.
Yeah.
It's like, get your dirty fingers off the curtains.
But then whenever I say, like, I'll find a place, I'm like, oh, we could do this, and it'll be a stepping stone. And I think Michelle just rolls her eyes because
I'm like, I've already done 5 stepping stones.
Half of your brain says, I just want a family.
I don't want to move again. Like we've lived in all the houses that we've bought. Like
I think we've had 5 places so far, and we've lived in them for 2 years each.
Yeah.
So it's like it's great. We're not hoarders because we're forced to move every 2 years.
Yep.
Clear everything out.
But like for every house we've bought and for every decision we've made, like Jono is constantly educating himself. Like no one's told him, oh, it might be a good idea for you to rent this one for X amount of time and do like he's researched, he's looked into it. And it's not just things he finds like on the internet. Like he's dragged me along to like appointments with like our accountants, our like financial advisors, like he knows that he doesn't know everything, but he's willing to like put in the effort to learn more about it.
But it was all self-taught, and like I said, we had no strategy, so we went into it, and like I learned how to buy a house. I learned that if you sell your principal place of residence, there's no capital gains tax, so you can just profit all of that. Pocket all the profit, and then move into the next place. And then when we moved into Michelle's apartment, and then we realised, okay, well, we paid down the loan, we had equity, and I was like, oh, equity.
Ooh, what's equity?
What's equity? And then I remember saying something to my dad, and he said, oh yeah, well, you can probably then borrow against your other place, use the equity in it, and then buy a new place. And I went, really? Like, and then we went out and bought a house in 2020. And that was a house in a really good suburb. I didn't want to buy the house.
No, I did because it was the quintessential like worst house in the best street.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
And I was like, we have to buy. I didn't want to necessarily live there, but I knew that it was like the best street to live in this particular suburb.
Okay.
And
me wanting I always wanted to buy like a cool architectural house. And I'm like, God, we're buying a ugly red brick from the 60s on a good street. Yeah. And then we ended up renting that out. We'd moved into it and then decided, no, not for us. This is too early. Back to the beach.
Suburbia.
We're not doing suburbia yet. And that was at the start of our IVF journey. And we were just like, if we've bought this house to fill it up with kids,
I'm not living.
It's going to be painful. Yeah. And then we had really good rental income from that.
And then Jono learnt about land tax.
Nice one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. The
that's the success tax that
we
call it.
Yeah.
But again, like no one, sometimes people expect to be taught all this stuff. Like, why didn't they teach us this at school? It's like, well, it's no one's responsibility to teach you these things.
Yeah.
Like, you need to go out and like find things out and learn
we
about it
weren't
and ask
listening to
questions.
There's
Or
a level of
house
being
or
resourceful
anything,
that I'm kind of
Yeah.
picking up for you guys going, I don't know how to do renos, I want to figure this out. I don't know how to
Yeah.
do this, but I'm going to figure it
Yeah.
out. And you haven't stolen from someone else's playbook, John.
Yeah.
So I'm going to figure this out and do this
Yeah.
our way or my way.
Mm.
And I think when we have clients that are trying to live someone else's life or dreams, for example, it quickly just runs out of steam because they're not signing up for those problems, whereas someone else is happy to endure that. So your strategy here is unique to you guys because it worked for you guys as opposed to
Like-
stealing someone else's.
Yeah, like I know people that like invest in houses like not local to them, like all around Australia. They buy, which is a great strategy. But where our passion was more renovating places and the design aspect. And so although we could have potentially made more money like investing in that area, that's not what we enjoyed.
We also weren't
So-
comfortable. And
Yeah.
all the advice I was told as I was trying to learn everything was only invest in things that you know and that you're comfortable with. And like I had steered clear of the share market because I was like, well, that's scary. I don't know what that is. But I knew what the houses were. I could see them. And they were like all in Wollongong and everyone's like, whoa, don't buy 4 places in Wollongong. Diversify your risk. And I was like, diversification. Okay, right. And then I looked into that and then I went, nah, I'm comfortable with the market in Wollongong. Like it's a pretty stable market and you've always got people from Sydney moving down here and there's a finite amount of land. So I was confident with that decision. And then, the snowball just sort of started once we bought that house and then moved out of it. And then we ended up buying another house that we were trying to flip. And that's when the boom was happening and it was 2021 when we bought this place and we were hearing all these headlines of property prices going to increase by 30% and we were getting advice and we're like, no, it probably is a good time. So we bought this little 60s house and it was a shoebox and it needed everything done to it. So we'd gone into that and we'd started an Instagram account about our renovation like everyone else does and we thought, we'll give this a crack. And then that was a hard slog. Like that almost broke me. I think it did break me. And
What about it?
well, it was, I think I'd underestimated renovating a house compared to an apartment. An apartment, you just got to do the inside. A house, you got to do the outside.
And at that point,
and the yard.
and at that point, costs of renovating had skyrocketed.
spiked,
Right after COVID, everyone just the
And
cost.
this
of
was-
They haven't
was-
stopped.
Yeah,
They haven't stopped
Yes,
either.
yeah.
And this one, like we put in a DA and did a little extension and a deck. So again, we just learnt so much.
Yeah.
And then, and that's when I started really getting more advice and I was more knowledgeable. And then I sort of had this moment where I went, oh my God, tax, like what do we do? And that you can, that you've got a principal place of residence, but if we're over here, then we might have to pay CGT on that. And that was kind of like this moment of, oh, okay, right, like we need to figure out what we're doing now.
Yeah.
And that's when we really started getting into strategy and advice and working out, no, we need a proper strategy here. We can't just keep fumbling along because we've now got a portfolio.
Which you do. You gotta look at it going. You built a sizable business for yourself. I think if you fast forward, you're probably not going to like this, Michelle. But I think there's a winning strategy here under the current new
Stepping
tax
on the stones.
under the current tax regime. This is the model.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I say strap in. You got another decade of like
I know.
That's right.
the boys are
Yeah.
just going to get
Oh,
used to
God,
moving around.
When that change happened, Jono was there just being like, oh, God.
I
This is what I've been doing all along. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys get a good tour of Wollongong, moving around
That's
home to
right.
home.
Yeah.
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 Which is kind of cool. You get new neighborhoods and you know what you like and
Yeah, I
what you
mean,
don't
we've,
like.
we've met so many good neighbours.
Yeah.
Like the place we're in at the moment, we've just got
Yeah.
great neighbours. And even the last place that we moved out of, like we met a really nice family, like similar age to us.
Yeah, we still hang out all the
and
time.
Michelle catches up with them every Wednesday. Like it's
Yeah.
just all of these other benefits that you get. And we also, so far we've never fallen in love with a house and it's never been the dream house. So we've had no attachment to it. So when the time comes, when there's another opportunity, we just go, we'll just.
I think you don't get attached because you know at some point we're going to leave. So you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably don't allow
Yeah.
yourself to get like,
Yeah.
this is the forever home. But I think when you do find
There
the
will be a
one,
forever home. There will
absolutely, it'll be like, this is the.
And we will lock
Forever
in.
for 5 years, and then we move into a retirement home.
Yeah, but you get closer. I think you edge closer and closer to the beach.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
like the
That's
boss.
my
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah. Look, I'm excited. Let's do a quick rapid fire round with you guys. Best investment you've ever made besides property?
Jono.
Yeah, here we go. Now try and come back after that one.
But it is like
Yeah.
we are so, don't listen, we are so well suited to each other. We are just on the same page all the time. The amount of trust we have in each other is like, we just work really well as a team.
It's music to my ears because that is probably not, you want a good marker of financial success. It's marry well or partner well.
Yeah.
And that's where trust, less financial friction, better alignment, for example.
Like, we still have disagreements. Jono's the dreamer. Jono's always like, yes, let's do this. Let's do this. And I'm more realistic.
You
and
bring
I'm
me
like,
back to earth, and then we sort of
and then we
balance
find
out
this
and-
happy medium that works for us.
Don't kill the dream though. Let me just. I feel this.
No,
because,
I'm not.
You're just the realist and go, well, this is what needs to
Yes.
happen. But it's, like I said, good yin and yang.
Yeah. The biggest disagreement is Jono wants to live in the bush and I want to live by the beach. that is the argument we have all the time.
There's actually, I reckon, if you keep going further south,
He doesn't
If-
want to go south.
where's that place? I'm trying to think where Trent
Jamboree,
Yeah, towards like.
Kiama? Yeah.
Even there's like that-
Jaroa.
Yeah, you're
Yes.
probably right there for the best of both worlds. You need a few more flips to actually get into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to take a while to get there. But
Yeah.
What about you? Best investment you made
If
besides
I can't
property?
say my wife, which I really want to say, I would probably say my financial education, which is all, it's all just my own hours of late night scrolling and watching podcasts and my latest thing is using Claude to just throw in some scenarios, and I've just spent so many hours of teaching myself all of this sort of stuff, and then also paying for advice and just going out and doing things that I would have felt uncomfortable doing like way back when, but now I'm like, no, I sort of know enough now that I can just sort of I'm using everything that I learn and implement it, and then I just learn from that. So it's just that
So
whole
being
snowball
self-taught,
effect.
what red flags do you look for versus what green flags? Because there's no shortage of bloody content out there, right?
Yeah. I suppose I probably look at like I never just go off what one person said. Like I'm always fact checking, and like I might interpret something, and then I go, oh yeah, okay, that's how it is, and then I go and talk to other people about it, and it might be my boss at work, it might be my parents, my brother's in a similar situation where he's got a property, so we bounce things off each other, and I pay for advice, he pays for advice, and then we meet in the middle and we thrash it out. So I never sort of just rely on what one person's told me.
Yeah, nice one. Love it. Renovating, fun or punishment?
Like choosing the finishes is fun. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Using a sander to sand back 7 layers of paint on top of each other that is sitting in the sun on a windowsill, so it's really caked on, not so fun. Like it's great. Like the first renovation we did, it was really enjoyable. By the time we got to like the last place we renovated, I was like, I refused to pick any tool up. It was good for a time when we needed it. And I still like picking things, the colours.
Do you get decision fatigue or you know exactly
No,
what I'm going for?
I'm very decisive.
exactly,
I will look at something and be like, that's the one. Jono will think about
and then
it
I'll
for
go,
a
well, what
month.
about this and this and this? She's like, no.
He's like, no, yeah.
Yeah, we need more people like you.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm very
quick decision makers.
decisive.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Jono? Fun or
I
nightmare?
would say over the course of a renovation, the first 40% is really fun. The middle 20% is really not fun. It's an absolute punish. And then the last bit, you sort of get your mojo back and it's really exciting. So it's just, it's a roller coaster, but like we've just finished a 3-month intense renovation and Michelle was a stay-at-home mum and I was out
was
there
a single
renovating
parent for 3 months.
every weekend, and I took annual leave to renovate. And I remember, like in the middle, I was just like, no, why the hell have I done this? And then right at the end, and here I am, a month, 2 months after, and I'm just like, I'm ready. I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch those Reno shows together at all?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, yeah. You're scratching an itch, surely, going, I think we could do it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. I refuse.
So what's harder, IVF, parenting twins, or renovating a house together?
God, good question.
This is a very big pause.
I think renovating is harder, but raising twins requires more patience.
Raising twins is hard, but it's also more fulfilling.
Yes.
Like there's more enjoyment you get out of it. Renovating's also good because like all that hard work, like you see the finished product. IVF was just draining. I hated IVF. Like even though by the end of it we got what we wanted, it was horrific. Not necessarily like the injections I could do, like the hormones, fine, whatever. Like all the invasive procedures did not bother me. It was just the not knowing if it was going to work or not that just drove me insane. Whereas renovating, like it's shitty now, but we'll get there.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. There's that end goal that you know that you can reach the goal. Like it's achievable. Whereas I think that was the hardest thing for us through IVF, not knowing that we could achieve it.
During the process, not knowing what the outcome was going to be. Whereas renovating and raising the boys, you know that bad days will have good days and
and now
good
I've
moments.
got kids that want to help me renovate. So I mean, it takes 5 times as long, but it's more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're helping or hindering, but yeah.
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 If your boys listen to this in 20 years, what's one lesson you hope that they learn from your story?
Just whatever you want to do in life, go all in. Like, give it a red hot go. Like, put in the hours. Like, I don't care what kind of career they go into. Just be passionate about it and want to do it really well and want to be like the best.
Proud, have pride in what they're doing.
Yeah, and be determined in whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and just give it a red hot crack, and it does get hard, but don't give up
and call your
going.
mother.
That's a very important one. That'd be saying the same thing. Call your mum. That level of work ethic. I mean, you manage people as well.
Yeah.
As part of your gig. That is probably the number one. If you're trying to hire someone, you're looking for, does this person have work ethic? Because it's probably the hardest thing to coach for. Yeah. Isn't it?
Yeah. It certainly is. I've been through a lot of trades. I was quite fortunate that my brother-in-law at the time was a builder, so I was able to, and I attribute a lot of what we've been able to do to him, and he was able to teach me a lot, and like I just had so many contacts through him, and my sister's since split up with him, so I was kind of just like
it was traumatic for Jono.
Absolutely rattled. I was like, oh my God. I'm really sorry, Sophie, but like that's a lot to go through. But I'm just processing over here. And it was, and it wasn't that I just didn't want to use him as our builder at the time and end up in an awkward situation where there was something like awkward in the family.
But he was able to give us good contacts,
good contacts,
so managing trades wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Like I guess with your job managing staff is different.
But it was the whole, like we never really had Michael, our builder, as a project manager. I always took on the project management of it. He sort of taught me over the first couple of renos on what to do when and who to talk to and the process of it. Yeah. And I picked that up pretty quick. And then the biggest thing that I learnt was just being clear in communication. They're there to do a job, but you've got to tell them what you want. And I can struggle with that at work big time. Like I'm the kind of guy that's just like, yeah, I want that. Just do it. Yep. And then I come back and I'm disappointed because I haven't used my words, as you say. But now, like if I want to tell someone to do something and I'm not going to be there, I'll take a video. I'll walk around the house and I say, I want you to do this, and I point things out and I say exactly what I want them to do, and I just send them the videos. So they've got that there to refer to all day long. or I'll write them a really solid list or a plan, and there's just that constant communication and respect as well. Like, it goes both ways. You've got to have a really good relationship with your tradies. Because, I mean, they've been burnt by plenty of other homeowners that can't communicate and get frustrated, and they end up in arguments. And
But also, if we've had, like, remember the Tyler that you had the first time?
oh,
He, like, and it's just, you make a mistake, you move on, like, you find someone different.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Such a great attitude is that ability just to cut and move on. Others will
Yeah.
stay in the hole. Like, they'll
Yeah.
fall in the hole and go, this is never again. It's like, you don't need to cut your nose to spite your face. It's
Yeah.
one bad trade, one bad relationship doesn't define you. It's like, how do you move on?
And like, I've got so much respect for tradies. They work so hard. Like, I've
you
done
want
a
to,
fair bit of it
yeah, you want to
myself,
be a
but,
roofer
like,
on a bloody middle of summer. I said to the team, I'm like, lucky we bloody work indoors, you know.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
aircon
so-
guys, that cavity was so small. They're like wriggling in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's just having respect for the people that are there doing the hard work for you. And this latest reno that we did, we were able to afford to pay people to do most of the work. I think I was there project managing and I was the landscaper, but it was so nice to be able to work with people and pay people to do some of the work for us. That was that took a huge burden off us.
Love it. Guys, you've been really vulnerable. I want to say thank you so much for really leveling with us. Something comes to mind when I'm hearing you guys, and it's too blessed to be stressed. And I'll tell you why. Like, you think about it, the amount of people that we deal with on a day-to-day basis financially, like trying to make really hard decisions. You know, kids are 3, and it's like, man, we can't even come up for air to make these decisions. You know, we're going through the motions. Whereas for you guys, you can make very good, clear decisions because I say state of wallet equals state of mind. So when your bank account, we've all been there. Like when the bank account's hemorrhaging, you're not making great decisions. Whereas when there's money in the bank, when we're sleeping well, when we're communicating well, the world spins. It's like, I just wouldn't stay on repeat versus, you know, some other people that are, you know, financially just going through the motions, and it's like they can't see the finish line. Like you talked about that lack of certainty. There's no finish line for some people, and you can see why they're just making bad decisions or poor choices, for example, financially, which then compound versus good and great decisions, which financially compound as well, which now gives you family, fun, freedom, like everything, like all the good Fs that go into it. But off the back of making some big decisions in your mid to late 20s. So I'll say, mate, credit to you guys. Well done. It's a really inspiring story.
Thanks.
Yeah. I will include a link to your feature on Australian Story. But yeah, I say to anyone, we get a lot of, predominantly in property, we get a lot of male listeners, and I say, look, sometimes my wife, my partner doesn't love listening to podcasts. I've got to challenge you on that one and say, if you want a podcast that you want to bring your partner on to listen to, I'd say this is the episode. We talk about family finances. We talk about building a financial future together, getting that alignment. I think you guys have nailed that today. So I want to say genuinely thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And the story that needs to be told.
Hopefully someone resonates.
Yeah. And this is, like you said, people suffer in silence.
Yeah.
Don't they? Like that whole pregnancy period. When it finds like, this is what people have gone through, like rainbow babies, and like I didn't even know, like you wouldn't have known what that meant in the past. And so to our younger listeners, like, I hope you never have to go through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Certainly a roller coaster that we don't wish on anyone else.
Yeah.
But, like we've just learnt so much through.
But
all
it
of
is
our
what it is.
experiences as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just rubbish things happen to everyone. You've just got to figure out ways to not let it consume you.
And then the Australian medical system, you get a whole new appreciation going through it as well, don't you? Yeah, cool. Awesome. That's what I mean by being built different. It's really a chance to have vulnerable discussion. Relationships, family is one of our core tenets as well. So I really hope you've enjoyed this chat. Would love your feedback, and we'll talk to you next time.